I'm going to unmute Edie, and she is going to read the gospel for today. So we'll take a listen to Edie.
Okay, the road to Emmaus. That same day, two of them were walking to the village Emmaus, about 7 miles out of Jerusalem. They were deep in conversation, going over all these things that had happened. In the middle of their talk and questions, Jesus came up and walked along with them, but they were not able to recognize who he was. He asked, "What's this you're discussing so intently as you walk along?" They just stood there, long-faced, like they had lost their best friend. Then one of them, his name was Cleopas, said, "Are you the only one in Jerusalem who hasn't heard what's happening during the last few days?" He said, "What has happened?" They said, "The things that happened to Jesus the Nazarene. He was a man of God, a prophet, dynamic in work and word, blessed by both God and all the people. Then our high priest and leaders betrayed him, got him sentenced to death, and crucified him. And we had our hopes up that he was the one about to deliver Israel. And it is now the third day since it happened. But now some of our women have completely confused us. Early this morning, they were at the tomb and couldn't find his body. They came back with the story that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Some of our friends went off to the tomb to check and found it empty, just as the women said. But they didn't see Jesus." End of the gospel.
Keep reading.
Okay.
Read to 35.
Oh, okay. Then he said to them, "So thick-headed, so slow-hearted? Why can't you simply believe all that the prophets said? Don't you see that these things had to happen? That the Messiah had to suffer and only then enter into his glory?" Then he started at the beginning with the books of Moses and went on through all the prophets, pointing out everything in the scriptures that referred to him. They came to the edge of the village where they were headed. He acted as if he were going on, but they pressed him. "Stay and have supper with us. It's nearly evening, the day is done." So he went in with them, and here is what happened. He sat down at the table with them. Taking the bread, he blessed and broke it and gave it to them. At that moment, open-eyed, wide-eyed, they recognized him, and then he disappeared. Back and forth they talked. "Didn't we feel on fire as he conversed with us on the road, as he opened up the scriptures for us?" 35?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Edie, I'm going to mute you again.
Good.
There you go. You're gone. All right, everybody. I'm going to try to sit at my wheel and do this today. Can everybody hear okay? Everybody can? Okay. There we go. I'm going to do the speaker view. So you can hear me okay? Good. All right. So our text for today is the road to Emmaus. I can't help but thinking it's Easter and Jesus has risen, and If I was going to be rising, it seems that, like I've said, I would do it differently somehow. But somehow Jesus has some deep, deep love and care of the whole earth and being human and being with people. And I'm just changing to my gallery view here so I can see all of you. It's so difficult to do any kind of preaching without people. So I'm going to try to see as many of you as I can. Jesus doesn't go to the temple after rising and sit on the top of the roof and levitate there. He doesn't go there with the heavenly host behind him singing. He doesn't use this megaphone of a voice that is projected from on high to tell the whole world. Instead, he in a way that we really need to pay attention to, he doesn't even go to the disciples at first. The inner circle. He doesn't go to the main party at the center. Instead, he goes to, Mary, who I would argue is part of the inner circle, but she's not seen as one of the apostles. She's kind of tertiary. She's on the fringes. And then in our text today, we've got Jesus appearing to Cleopas, one of his disciples, and another disciple with Cleopas. Now, just to show of hands out there, who's heard of Cleopas? No, you have not. Put your hands down. Other than this text, let me change that. Other than this text, who's heard of Cleopas, the disciple? You better not put your hands up. We don't hear about him. We hear about him once, and this is it. So he appears to Cleopas and one other disciple who doesn't even get named. So the first people that Jesus goes to are either named once, they're so tertiary that they're only named once, and this is it, or they're not named at all. And here's the part that really got me this time, was he joins them for a walk that is 7 miles long. He's risen from the dead. He's been beaten practically to death. And he's going to go for a walk 7 miles long and have a chat. Now, my wife and I, we walk around Lake Nokomis quite often. We like that little lake down there. It's 3 miles all the way around it. And we generally will do one. Sometimes we'll do 2 times. 2 times around, that's 6 miles. It takes an hour to go 3 miles. So this walk from Jerusalem to Emmaus is about 7 miles. It's about 2.5 hours long of a walk. We're talking about slowing things down. I mean, the risen Christ can appear behind locked doors instantaneously in different places. Why would you waste your time slowing everything down for 2.5 hours to walk with a couple people? And all I'm left with is Jesus loved this physical world. Jesus loved this life. God is in the details of washing the dishes, of pulling the weeds, of sweeping the dust in the corner from the cat hair. Jesus is so blessing of this life and this stuff that we find so slow. And this was brought home to me this week. Peg Kavanaugh, Peg's out there. Can you raise your hand, Peg? There she is. Peg's there. She came over and at a distance we painted some some canvases we've constructed to put up in front of the construction that's needing to be finished at church here. She helped me paint it, and I asked her, kind of in an excited way, I asked her if she'd seen the Maundy Thursday thing that I put on the website, or Paul Von Fange put on the website. I was really excited about it because it you know, we've been doing this Maundy Thursday Last Supper thing together as a community for years, and we couldn't do it this year, so I decided I would just reenact the Last Supper of Leonardo da Vinci in clay, and I made these urns, of which these are a few. These are the urns after they've been fired. And I made these urns, 13 of them for all of the people in Da Vinci's picture. And I set them up leaning into each other in just the way that the characters in the painting were leaning. And I did this, and I thought it would be pretty boring if everybody had to sit there for hours and watch me throw an urn slowly. So I put on my phone a video in time lapse. And what I didn't know was in time lapse, if you throw a pot for 5 minutes, it will show your 5-minute video back in 35 seconds. If you do many pots for 2 hours, it'll show you what you did for 2 hours in 35 seconds. So something that is speeded up becomes hyper speeded up. So that was the result of the video that was posted, was this hyper speed. It looks like these pots are jumping off the wheel and throwing themselves in the frame so quickly that it makes no sense. But I couldn't take it back because you need an app to do that, and I didn't have it. And so I left it up, and I'm pleased with the final result. Of course, not the time lapse, but I thought you guys don't want to watch me throw a pot. And Peg says she couldn't watch it. It was too distracting. It didn't make any sense. And she's right. And she said, I really enjoy watching the pot being made in real time. That's not a chore to me. That's what I love to do that. That's meditative. And I said, well, it is for me too. It's the reason why I do it, not for efficiency's sake. So the stuff that takes so long to do is the gift, the walking the 7 miles and happening upon a stranger that joins you. We don't know where the risen Christ shows up in our life unless we slow down. Unless we show our hopelessness and our fear and our worry, and we're honest about those things. As a way to illustrate this, I'm gonna painstakingly, I'm gonna throw an urn for you right now as I tell you a story that will finish out this sermon, if that's what we'll call it. I'm gonna throw this pot, and I'm gonna do it from the very beginning. So you see, here's an empty vat that I throw on. Oftentimes you'll see me throw, but I'll already have the clay put down, and I'll have it wheel wedged. That is boring, but it's part of the process. So I'm going to do that, and you can watch. You can watch as we go, and if I can talk at the same time, I'm going to do it. But we're going to go through the whole process, and it's not in time lapse because we're taking time here. This is the good stuff of life. This isn't the stuff to bypass. We're gonna shift. So welcome on the road to Emmaus, and we're gonna slowly do this. Make an urn. Nothing glorious. and the clay has got lumps in it, and it's hard to get them out. You got to work them out. Can you all see me? Somehow, somebody is sharing their screen. Now, this is what I figured would happen with Zoom every Sunday morning. Let's see if I can figure out who's doing this.
It said Donna is sharing her screen.
All right, Donna, knock it off. Okay, here we go. Can you see me again? Okay. Boy, it's even more painstaking and slow than I imagined. So here we go. So Jesus is taking his time. He shows up and he's eating dinner with people. He's breaking bread and cooking fish. He's walking 7 miles. As he's walking that 7 miles, he's hearing the story of these two unnamed, well, one Cleopas and the other one, probably Cleopas's wife. They're on their way back to where they live. They go from Jerusalem, where the events have transpired, and they've been so bitterly disappointed. They're going back to Emmaus, their home, and they're hopeless. They're despondent. And they don't know when this nightmare is going to end. And I think we can imagine that a little bit in this world right now. How is this going to end? And as they walk along, he shares the walk, and he asks them, what are you talking about? He plays with them a little bit, and they say, oh, we're talking about Jesus of Nazareth. Who is that? And they start to say who he is, and they talk about how they had hoped that he was the one, and he was going to be the one to bring love back. He was going to be the one to help transform the government, the temple, everything that they knew. And he was turning everything upside down. The powerless were getting power, and the powerful ones were being put in their place. And that was what was going to happen. And they had so much hope. And they're not pulling any punches. They are so sad. And all the loss of dreams. I think, again, we're just living in so many lost dreams right now with people. How do you have a graduation for 700 and some kids virtually? how do you say goodbye to your kindergarten friends after 12 years when you can't? You know, how do you do this? And there's so many lost dreams. So they're sharing this, and then Jesus, the risen Christ, starts to reveal to them by saying, you're so foolish. Why have you not seen this? It's what the scripture said was going to happen. They said, what, that we're going to lose? He lost. He lost the battle. He was crucified. It ended. He didn't win. And he says, this is what the scriptures say. Winning's going to look different now. It's in defeat that the victory comes. It's in the losing your life that you find it. And I'm sure that they just kept listening and just being baffled by how is he interpreting the scriptures this way? How is it possible that something good can come out of this pandemic? How is it good that something for the class of 2020 can actually go on to live their life in a way that will bring life to the rest of the world in ways they couldn't before this pandemic? How is it possible? And I have to say, I don't see it. I don't see it. On this road to Emmaus, I don't see how loved ones dying by themselves without anybody holding their hand or holding them as they die can bring any good out of anything. I don't see it on this road to Emmaus. But he continues to talk, and he continues to tell them that it's in losing that we win. That it's in actually even losing hope that there's triumph. And they just let him talk, and they just let him go, and they just didn't get it. Even in death, you know, we've won. I don't know, but I'm a pastor, and I still shake my head at that one. I just think, oh, what a turn of phrase, you know? So then he gets back to their house because they welcomed a stranger. So where is God, and how do you see the risen Christ? Take your time, slow down, walk. Invite others to walk with you, 6 feet apart. Extend hospitality. Come back to our house. I know you're a stranger, but we're going to take a chance. Come back to us. It's too late at night. Please. We don't even know you, but please come back. We'll feed you. Hospitality. You want to see the risen Christ? Hospitality. And then you want to see the Christ? Share your food. Break bread. Read the scriptures. Try to understand and interpret. You'll see the risen Christ. And as he breaks this bread, their eyes are opened, and they realize who this has been. And I don't know if you've done that with some of the neighbors that you have. I think there's no way that neighbor has any good to come out of them. In fact, that neighbor is as far from the risen Christ as anybody I've ever seen. And you know the neighbor I'm talking about. But then your eyes are open and you see them be tender with their kids or their dog or you. And something shifts. It's like, oh, it was there. Did you see it? And then it's gone. And then he vanishes right before him. He disappears. And that's it. So here's the story I want to show with you, okay? As I continue to work on this painstakingly slow urn. And it looks like people are behaving themselves and not sharing their screens. This is all good. Reminds me of a story I read on a Chipotle burrito bag. One time there was this fisherman in a little village. And this fisherman was a great fisherman. I mean, really, really good. He'd get up in the morning and he'd wake with the sun. And as the sun was starting to rise, he would get up and he'd have his little cup of coffee, and he'd take his equipment down there down to the ocean, and he'd get in his boat and he'd go fishing. And sometimes he'd go with his kids if they didn't have anything else to do and they were willing, which my son is not willing. But even so, they went down and he goes fishing, and he goes out and he catches great fish. He's a great fisherman. He catches enough for himself and a whole bunch of other people. And by about noon, he comes back in his boat, and he secures the fish in cold water, and then he puts his hammock up between two trees, and he takes a siesta. He takes a nap. When he wakes up a couple hours later from his nap, he goes back to his fish, and the people that are around that usually come to him for their fish, they come and they buy some fish from him. He has a little bit of money, and he takes the fish that he's going to save for his family, and he stops off at the market and he buys a few things like a bottle of wine and maybe some Corona beer, and then goes back, and he and his wife prepare the fish for his children and his grandchildren, and they have a feast that night, and they play music around the fire. He goes to sleep so happy, well-fed, and gets up in the morning and he does it again. And one day, a visitor comes from Minneapolis, and they see him. They see him catching these fish like it's no work to him at all. And they watch him for a couple days until finally he goes over and asks him. He says, "You know, if you just hired a few people and got a couple more boats, you could go out and you could catch a lot of fish, and then when you come back, you could sell those fish for a lot more money than you could actually buy a building to process the fish, and then you could actually hire trucks to deliver the fish to markets all over the island, and then you could actually you could retire from fishing, and you could hire all the fishermen and show them your everything. They could do all the fishing, and eventually, by the time you retire, you will be rich beyond your wildest dreams." And he says, "Well, what would I do then?" And he says, "Well, you could get up in the morning, have coffee with the sun. You could go down, get in the boat, and you could go fishing, catch a couple fish for your family and a few friends. You could stop and get a bottle of wine, a Corona beer, and come back, and you could feed your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, and you could have a wonderful night around the fire. You could go to sleep, and in retirement, you can get up and do it every single day." And he says, "I already do that now. Why would I work my tail off for my whole life so that I can just get back to the spot where I'm at right now?" And so Jesus is walking on the road and listening to their cries and to their hopelessness and their despair. We thought he was the one to bring love to the world. We thought he was going to be the one to restore Israel. We thought he was going to be the one to turn the temple around. We thought he was going to be the one to bring justice. But he failed. And he says, "Well, in my dying, we get to go straight back out. We get to wake up with the sun in this post-resurrection world. We get to wake up with the sun, and if we don't wake up with the sun, which most of us don't, again, like Nicholas, we get to spend the day chasing after the sun. We're going to chase the sun. We're going to chase the sun all the way to Galilee. We're going to chase the sun all the way to Rome. We're going to chase the sun all the way to Lauderdale. We're going to chase the sun all over our lives, trying to catch up with the risen Christ so that we can go get a fish, we can come back and share it, and we can feed each other. and we can have this experience. And in his death, love did not die. The promise does not die. The kingdom does not die. It's born in us. Yeah, so it's true. I think there's a lot to grieve, and we will do that. But it's not the end. It's not the end. And it's not the end of this pot either. So I'm going to clean this up. The road to Emmaus is not, it's not any way that you can speed it up. There's no speeding it up. There's no time lapse. Sometimes we feel like we want to push time lapse. If only we could get through this really quickly. If we could get through this pandemic thing really quickly, then we can get on with the real thing of loving our neighbor and caring about our kids and doing the right things and showing love in the world, trying to catch up with the risen Christ. Once this is over, then we're going to start living. Then we're going to get back to being, we're going to be back to being on the road again. No, that's right now. That's right now. I keep picking on Nicholas. I just keep picking on him because he's so easy to pick on, especially if he's not here. If he watches one of these and he realizes that if he's here, I can't do this, then maybe he'll come next week. Clean my hands up here. So blessings to you on your road to Emmaus, this messy life, this slow, one more day in pandemic. One more day, here we are, living the dream or the nightmare. I'm gonna turn this way now. There we go. I pick on Nicholas, but Nicholas is, he's gotten so creative. He's done so many. Next week, we'll show you a picture of what he did. He did a climbing wall. He built a climbing wall and he painted his car. He's writing music. He's doing all kinds of wonderful things, even as it's so sad and he's so broken about it. Anyways, slow. We're going to do an offering time now. And I extended that invitation to people to do offerings of talents and things that they'd like to do. And I'm going to unmute everybody. If everybody could just behave themselves and not talk for just a little bit. Or if you don't have something that you want to offer, when I unmute you, when I unmute everybody, just mute yourselves as you're able so that we don't get inundated with sound. And if you have something you'd like to offer for offering, just let us know. And looks like Anna Phillips and Elsie have something to offer.
You want to show? Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Okay.
So it's a birthday
This
present.
page, can you find Elsie so we can hear if you can hear it?
Birthday present. I made a birthday present and then it opens up and there's a present.
That's great. Oh, that is great. It's like a pop-up card.
Do I show one more? She's got it.
And a shark. And a
You want to see where you can turn? That's great. That's great.
and It's a Pokemon one.
Another one.
I also made this out of perlite.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. That's really nice.
Put it to us and show yours.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let's see, Jacob.
Wow, that's nice.
Wow.
Come a little bit closer.
No.
Oh, that's really deep.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, looks like we got Henry here.
Henry's drawing a giant heart.
Oh, that's great, Henry. That's wonderful.
They see it.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks for showing that to us.
See that?
Also, it closes.
Okay. So we have, looks like we've got the Glomans getting ready to perform there. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
We should do this. Stand forward a little bit closer.
Listen, children, to a story that was written long ago. About a kingdom on a mountain and a valley folk below. When the mountain was a treasure very deep beneath the stone, and the mountain people swore they had it for their very own. Go and hang that many bird, go and cheat a friend. Do it in the name of heaven, you can justify it in the end. There won't be any trumpets blowing come the judgment day, on the bloody morning after. One tin soldier rides away. So the people of the valley sent a message up the hill, asking for the buried treasure, tons of gold for which they killed. Came an answer from the kingdom, with the brothers we will share all the secrets of our mountain, all the riches buried there. Go ahead and hate your neighbor, go ahead and cheat a friend. Do it in the name of heaven, you can justify it in the end. There won't be any trumpets blowing on the judgment day, on the bloody morning after. One tin soldier rides away. Now the valley cried with anger, mount your horses, draw your swords, and they killed the mountain people, so they won their just reward. Understood beside the treasure, on the mountain dark and red, turned the stone and left beneath it. Peace on earth was all it said. Go ahead and hate your neighbor, go ahead and treat a friend. Do it in the name of heaven, you can justify it in the end. There won't be any trumpets blowing
I've never seen it, so what's that? I don't care. It's not a very relationship with God. Aaron and Nick.
There we are.
Beautiful.
Isn't that sweet of Kathleen to do?
Beautiful, Kathleen. Very nice.
Here, I've unmuted Kathleen best I can. Maybe she hasn't unmuted herself. There she is.
Yeah.
You've been taking those
I can't see
No.
Caroline.
You've been taking those pictures for a while, haven't you?
Well, I took them on a walk just past month or so, just in the few, in a week or so, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and then she emailed them to me and at the church email or my email, which one, but anybody that wants to photograph things like that and send them to me of things that you've been thinking about, please do. And I'll get a little video that I can put together. So just let you know. Now, again, prayers of the people. I can unmute everybody and what would you like to pray for today? If you have a prayer you'd like to offer up, you can unmute yourself and you can offer up a prayer. How about that? All right, I have, can you hear me?
Yeah?
I'm gonna offer up, because I've been told by many that
That unheard of you.
having open prayers in something like this is very difficult, so
Then go to, no, wait a second.
I am going to,
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to offer up, again, because it is so powerful, I'm gonna offer up praise song for the pandemic. So here we go. If I can find it. I think I've got it. Let's see. Bear with me.
It's like Daryl Goodmanson Jr. though.
Well, that's not them.
Oh, yeah. That's a first. Because they don't know how to run their machine.
Are you bearing with me? Here we go. Okay, here we go. So powerful. Can you see?
Praise be the nurses and doctors, every medical staff bent over flesh to offer care, for lives saved and lives lost, for showing up either way. Praise for the farmers tilling soil, planting seeds so food can grow, an act of hope if ever there was. Praise be the janitors and garbage collectors, the grocery store clerks and the truck drivers barreling through long, quiet nights. Give thanks for bus drivers, delivery persons, postal workers, and all those keeping an eye on water, gas, and electricity. Blessings on our leaders making hard choices for the common good, offering words of assurance. Celebrate the scientists working away to understand the thing that plagues us, to find an antidote, and all the medicine makers. Praise be the journalists keeping us informed. Praise be the teachers finding new ways to educate children from afar, and blessings on parents holding it together for them. Blessed are the elderly and those with weakened immune systems, all those who worry for their health. Praise for those who stay at home to protect them. Blessed are the domestic violence victims on lockdown with abusers, the homeless and refugees. Praise for the artists and poets, the singers and storytellers, all those who nourish with words and sound and color. Blessed are the ministers and therapists of every kind, bringing words of comfort. Blessed are the ones whose jobs are lost, who have no savings, who feel fear of the unknown gnawing. Blessed are those in grief, especially who mourn alone. Blessed are those who have passed into the great night. Praise for police and firefighters, paramedics, and all who work to keep us safe. Praise for all the workers and caregivers of every kind. Praise for the sound of notifications, messages from friends reaching across the distance. Give thanks for laughter and kindness. Praise be our four-footed companions with no forethought or anxiety, responding only in love. Praise for the seas and rivers, forests and stones who teach us to endure. Give thanks for your ancestors, for the wars and plagues they endured and survived. Their resilience is in your bones and your blood. Blessed is the water that flows over our hands and the soap that helps keep them clean, each time a baptism. Praise every moment of stillness and silence so new voices can be heard. Praise the chants and slowness. Praise be the birds who continue to sing the sky awake each day. Praise for the primrose poking yellow petals from dark earth. Blessed is the air clearing overhead so one day we can breathe deeply again. And when this has passed, may we say that love spread more quickly than any virus ever could. May we say this was not just an ending, but also a place to begin.
What if I go? There we go. I'm almost there. No, 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 no. Don't do it.
Piano there, boys.
Okay, here I am. Oh, you blessed people, thanks for hanging in there. Let us end with Beautiful Savior that Jonathan and Mary are going to play one verse of. You can mute yourself and we will listen to them, and we can sing along at least one verse, and then we'll end with a closing. Yes, Mary.
Should I say the words? Remind you all of the words. Beautiful Savior, King of creation, Son of God and Son of man. Truly I'd love thee, truly I'd serve thee, light of my soul, my joy, my crown.
Thank you. That's
Very
nice.
You have nothing to worry about.
It's so good to see everybody. It really is as little as we can get here. Special prayers go out to all of you that are really struggling to figure out what comes next. You know, some of you have lost your jobs. Some of you are waiting to go back to jobs. Some know that they don't have a job to go back to. Some want to go back to a job sometime, but they don't know when the economy will pick up to make that possible. Some have received stimulus checks that they're grateful for, but boy, they won't go very far. Some are still waiting for stimulus checks. It's a real time of anxiety. If we could just keep everybody in prayer in these days, if there's anything people need, please give a call, and we can get the word out in the ways that we were able to. Also, if you know, this is the time of year for planting gardens, and we have we've got our tiller out there in the neighborhood already. It's been taken up by a neighbor, Jeff Hart, and also Zabotniks have it now. It'll probably be coming back over to Walnut Street pretty soon. If you need a garden tiller, give a call to the church, call my cell phone, text me, whatever it takes, and we'll get it to where it needs to go. And you can just till away and plant a garden. Be a good thing to do. So let us know. So let us do a closing now. Go into the world in faith, trusting God to lead us, trusting people to receive us. Go into the world with hope, with God's presence before us and human dreams to carry us. Go into the world with love, working with those in whom Christ lives and serving those for whom Christ died. Go in faith, hope, and love. And I'll add, go slowly, all 7 miles, and welcome those that can join you. We might be surprised. So let me unmute this. You're all unmuted, unless you've muted yourself. Welcome to those that came in late. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you very quickly when you were in the waiting room. We have 24 participants now.
You always listen to Gabby when it's never happened. That's what him bringing you the charger.
Let me find out which one's doing that, and I'll see if I can.
I didn't do that. That's when him hitting me with the charger. No.
Okay.
So I pushed him away.
I don't even see him.
I love you.
I don't even have a on my, I can't tell where the noise is
What
coming
is
from.
that? That LCD? I don't know.
Well, again, I've recorded this one this time, and it is up on, it'll be up on the website pretty soon. You can find. But blessings to you all, and you guys can visit for as long as you'd like. And thank you that offered something for the offering time. It was really sweet time. So all sweet. And hopefully we'll come back here next week and we'll be healthy. Be well, and we'll see you out there. Monday night, 7 p.m. We'll be doing just first. If you'd like to look at the movie, it's up on Google, and Monday night, 7 p.m. Yeah, Tuesday at 9:45 for the tech study. Also, it's out to everybody. And Wednesday night is the Universal Christ at 7 p.m. So get to me if you'd like to be a part of that Universal Christ. Let me know, and I'll send you a link. Any questions? Anybody to say?
Yay.
Okay. See everyone.
Okay.
Well, everybody.
Bye.
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 What do you need a speech about the flowers?
Bye.
Huh?
Take care this week.
I didn't realize people were out to stop people from sharing. Great. Be well, everybody. Hey, Daryl. Daryl Goodmanson, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Be well. We'll see you 9:45 next week, or unless we see you earlier. If you missed the service completely, this gem of a recording is on our website, peacelauderdale.com, and you can go ahead and click on it. But be well. Thanks again, Kathleen, for sending those pictures. They were very sweet. There's Crystal.
Finally, I got myself unmuted.
How did you find it? What was wrong?
I just pushed a button, and I was lucky it was the right button.
Plugins are in the lower.
All right.
I wanted to put a good word in for when we were praying for I planted a black walnut tree in the boulevard a couple weeks ago, so it might need a little help from above to grow because it doesn't have any leaves. It's a big stick, but I'm hoping the Lord will look kindly upon that little walnut tree.
Not so kindly on the squirrels that would eat it.
Well, I hope so.
All right. Well, be well, everybody. We'll see you soon.